I'm going to tell you about a simple idea for personal climate action which has the potential to raise billions of dollars for climate solutions. A few years ago, I was a fund manager. I was investing in countries all over the world. I thought my activities were doing good, helping finance development and business and helping to lift people out of poverty. There was some element of truth to that, but I could also see that there were big problems being caused by the companies and countries we were investing in. Problems of deforestation, pollution, habitat loss, and climate change. I left finance to go and run an organic farm, and I became increasingly concerned about the crisis of biodiversity and climate. I was searching for things I could do about it and started to look into setting up a think tank to lobby governments or raise awareness. But then I thought, does the world really need another voice pointing out what's wrong? I started writing occasional newsletters about the crisis, and a good friend, Jasper, said to me, "You keep sending all this terrifying stuff, but what can we actually do about it?" So we started brainstorming and researching, and we developed the idea behind the Global Returns Project. What if there was a way to use the financial system to do good? After all, finance operates in almost every area of human activity. What if we could use that system to solve these problems and make the world a better place? Well, lots of people have thought about this before. Some are divesting from fossil fuel companies, and we now have sustainable investing, ESG, impact investing, and green bonds. Now, this is all great news and very helpful, but it's only a minority of investments that follow these rules, and these mechanisms don't address some of the most difficult problems. There is no market mechanism for suing the polluters or for protecting the rainforests and other habitats. The other problem is that many fund managers still see their job as maximising returns to the exclusion of these other considerations. But all this money ultimately belongs to individual savers and investors, and we can decide what matters. Every investment has an impact, and it affects the future that we are saving for. Private individuals globally have savings and investments worth around $140 trillion. That's a mind-numbing figure. And individuals can each decide what to do with their own money. So what if some tiny percentage of this figure could be used to solve those problems that have no market solution? So this is our idea. If everyone with savings and investments was given the option by their bank or broker to tick a box every year to automatically give a tiny proportion of their money to solve some of these problems, then a good number of people would do that. Those people would be agreeing to reinvest in Earth, which means to give just 0.25% of savings and investments to the best not-for-profit climate solutions. Let's say only 3 in 100 people did that. Well, that would be 10 billion a year. That really would make a difference. Behavioural research tells us that if this choice is presented in that context, so that it is a normal and easy thing to do, then many of us will participate and choose to reinvest in Earth. We can only reach those sorts of numbers if financial institutions provide this service. Many financial institutions are saying governments need to take much more action on climate change, but many of them see their role as just looking after the money, not helping their clients tackle the climate crisis. Our plan is to show them that this limit on their responsibilities is an illusion. Savings cannot be separated from our future. That's what they're for. Every investment has an impact. Every time you save money, it has an effect. When you put money in the bank does something with that money. When you invest your money, those investments have an effect in the real world, which affects our future. Our investments and our children share the same future. We can help remove these mental barriers about the role of financial services and the role in the crisis. Our campaign is not an attack on the bankers and fund managers. I used to be one of them, working in the heart of capitalism. On the contrary, we know that many people in finance are working hard to change things, and we want to help them. We need to divest from fossil fuels, invest in genuinely sustainable, and reinvest in Earth to solve the problems that markets cannot address. There are amazing disruptive technologies which will help us address the crisis. Innovations in renewables, energy storage, food production, and transport. But it's going to take years or decades for these to become the norm. Meanwhile, we need to reinvest in Earth to stop making things worse, and also to protect the natural carbon sinks of the planet, working with nature-based solutions to draw down CO2 at the scale required to make a difference. The money that's reinvested in Earth goes to the best not-for-profit climate organisations who are working on climate solutions, organisations that are protecting rainforests, planting trees, providing clean, sustainable energy, exposing harmful supply chains, using the law to sue the polluters and protect the Earth. Part of making this easy is for us to do the work of identifying the best projects. We've thoroughly researched over 160 climate organisations and have chosen some of the most effective and most scalable. 100% of the money that is raised when people reinvest in Earth goes to our charity partners. So far, we've identified 5 charity partners that we've already started to raise money for. Ashton, Client Earth, Global Canopy, Rainforest Trust, and Trillion Trees through WWF. Investing in these projects delivers real, identifiable returns. The returns are externalized and global, but they are real. Decarbonizing the economy is not enough. We have to invest in natural systems that draw down CO2 every day of every year. We're at a unique moment in time. The COVID-19 pandemic is a tragedy for so many, but it's also shown that things we didn't believe were possible are possible. From home working to virtual medical consultations, it has also shown us how fast perceived barriers can disappear and how we can change systems in an emergency. Just like the pandemic, the climate crisis won't resolve itself. It will require some changes. But here's the good news. Real change is within reach. We know that financial institutions are ready for change. We know that savers and investors are ready to make a difference. And we now know that we can change the way we do things, and fast. We're on the brink of a breakthrough. So the Global Returns Project is looking for the first 5,000 people who will join us and reinvest in Earth, commit to donating 0.25% of their savings and investments every year to the best climate solutions. Together, these pioneers will show the brokers and the bankers that the world has changed and that savers and investors want to do this, and we want their cooperation to make this easy and normal for everyone. Part of this idea is that we're deliberately blurring the line between investment and philanthropy. If we have savings and investments, we're responsible not just for that money, but also for the effect it has on the world. The investment world works in percentages, and when you reinvest in Earth, the percentage is the same for everyone. If you have £4,000, that's £10 a year. And if you have £10 million, that's £25,000 a year. But it's the same percentage for everyone. So, when faced with this planet-sized problem, we're not helpless. We can each take personal action. When you do this, you're joining our campaign to help the financial services industry make a small change in order to make it normal and easy for thousands and then millions of others to reinvest in Earth and fund global climate solutions on a massive scale. This is our moment. It's time to act. Thank you.